I think generally speaking, there's a lot of positive sentiment after the Government of National Unity. If you just think about how the RAND performed, how the JSE performed. So there is a general expectation that are we going to see some of that in the budget numbers? Are we going to see better growth numbers? That will make a huge difference in terms of all the metrics relative to GDP. The reality is unfortunately still that, as we stand here today, there's still a lot of things preventing us to get to that growth. So, the question out there is, will the budget also be a positive Government of National Unity budget? And then unfortunately the reality is next year this time, if we don't see those growth numbers, are we back to square one? So it's to get the balance right between the positive sentiment that's currently flooding the country and the reality that's still on the ground in terms of what we need to do on a daily basis.
We know that infrastructure really has to be key, and you talk about a lot of things preventing things, coming to fruition. What would you hope would be spoken to in that regard? I remember the late Tito Mboweni always used to go on about project preparation and the like.
Yeah, so some of the things that's still keeping a lid on economic growth, we've spoke about it many times before, it's been for the last decade. Fortunately we're addressing the electricity issue, but we're not out of the woods yet. We're keeping the lights on, but the economy is growing at 1%. So the question is, can we still have a growth of 5% with the current Eskom in its current form? I guess there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. The other things is the ports, the rails. So when they talk about infrastructure and also the potential of investment boom in infrastructure, a lot of that will also remove the structural issues like addressing the ports and the rails. So it's to give more guidance in terms of what they are going to do to turn those hurdles around to actually get to higher growth.
And what do you expect around the social wage? Because there are a lot of pressures in that regard and concerns, for example, that there are not going to be enough teachers to fill vacancies.
Yeah, they're currently busy, obviously, with the negotiations in terms of the increase on this on the wage bill. The higher that is, the less there's money to actually go back to the, having the right people in the right places, education, healthcare, and the like. So that is part of the balancing act that makes it very difficult at this point in time, especially if you don't want to go and borrow more. The big focus on capping debt to GDP, and that's making it difficult in terms of spending on the right places.